Hello, my readers slash viewers slash anyone else that might possibly view this video. Welcome to this week's thought. This week is, in fact, a thought. I told you last week that it was going to be a very fun thought, not necessarily a fun thought, but a thought that we could have fun with. It could possibly be fairly funny. However, certain circumstances have arisen this past week, and we're going to push that particular topic off a couple weeks because some very important things have happened in the last week that I've got some other thoughts flowing in my head. So we're going to do them first since they're fresh, since they're really a hot topic right now, and we're going to take care of that. So this week, might even get 2 posts this week, possibly tonight, and I might do one by the end of the week. But either way, we're going to push off the one I was talking about last week to a couple weeks from now, and we're going to talk about some other things first. Also, I said last week that I was going to leave it up to my viewers to decide whether they wanted a video or a typed out form. I didn't get any votes. That disappoints me. And I know for a fact some people watched the video because they told me they watched it, and they still didn't vote. If you got on and you watched the video and you heard that I requested a vote, all you had to do was click the little button that's down at the bottom that says comment and type a one-word sentence. Video, or I guess the other one wouldn't be a one-word reply. Video or non-video, whatever you want to put. Anyway, I didn't get a vote either way, so I said we were going to flip a coin. I didn't flip a coin. It's 11:40 at night, so instead of flipping a coin, I just decided to do a quick video. It's quicker to do. Doesn't take me as long to type it out because I don't have to do any typing, and then I just upload it and boom, it's done. But this week we're going to talk about a topic that is not going to come as any surprise to anyone. It isn't necessarily about, but it involves and stems from a tragic event that occurred about a week ago, not quite a week ago. It's no surprise, it's been all over the news for the last week, that out in Aurora, Colorado, on last Thursday night, midnight, at a midnight premiere of The Dark Knight Rises, which is an excellent movie, by the way. But anyway, at the movie, an individual walked into the movie theater armed with an AK-47 assault rifle and proceeded to fire it into a very crowded, I believe it was sold out, movie theater full of people there at the midnight premiere of The Dark Knight Rises. The final count, I believe, was 12 dead and 58 wounded, I believe. I don't know if the death toll has risen. I know some of the people who were injured were in critical condition, didn't know if they were going to make it or not, so I'm not sure what the situation is now, but at the time it was 12 dead, 58 wounded, grand total of what, 70 people. In a matter of seconds had their lives changed forever, or ended completely. So first and foremost, I want to say that I know my thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families. And I know my readers and viewers would say the same thing. But I also, being a very Christian person, I believe also that a prayer and thoughts and prayers need to go out to the gunman and his family. A lot of people I know would say he doesn't deserve it, but he truly does, because it is quite obvious that he is quite a sick individual. Something is not right with him, and he deserves some thoughts and prayers as well, as does his family, of course. So want to get that said right out front. I can't even imagine what that situation is like. I pray I never have to know what it's like. So thoughts and prayers to everyone involved out in Aurora, Colorado. But the topic we're going to talk about tonight does not necessarily directly involve the horrific event that took place. it sort of just stems from it. And it doesn't stem directly from that because it's something that's been brought up countless times in our history, and it will be brought up countless times in our years to come. And that is of gun control, gun laws, and gun control in general. As of right now, the U.S. does not have very strict gun control. The laws surrounding guns, I'm not extremely familiar with them. I know, like, for instance, in PA, which is where I live, in order to own a handgun, I believe you only need to be 21 years of age. I believe that's it. As far as shotguns and rifles and everything else, I'm not entirely sure what the laws are surrounding it. You may not even need to be 21 to own one. You probably just have to be 21 to purchase one. Excuse me. I'm not extremely familiar with, like I said, I'm not extremely familiar with the laws that are currently in place, so I'm not going to try and interpret what they are. I'll just tell you what I know. And like I said, the only one that I'm quite certain of is the age of 21. I don't believe you need to have a criminal background check to purchase a handgun or anything like that. I think in PA you just have to have your ID with you when you purchase your weapon. That might not even be the case. But anyway, that's not what's important here. What's important here is, as far as strictness, the U.S. does not have the strictest gun laws in the world. That may not be a good thing. Ever since last week, though, I've heard countless debates, both in person, not both, but in person, online in different reports, other people posting videos, and also tons of debates on Facebook. I'm going to first and foremost state for the record that I am a big believer in the Constitution. I'm a big supporter of the Constitution. The Constitution states we have the right to bear arms. And because we have the right to bear arms, I fully believe and support that any individual, let me make a correction, as long as you don't have a criminal history surrounding gun violence and whatnot, if you are a law-abiding citizen, I believe you have the right to go out and purchase firearms. Now, particular firearms like an AK-47, for those of you who don't know what an AK-47 is, it's an assault rifle. Puts out a lot of rounds of ammunition very quickly, which is why the gunman was able to injure so many people in a short amount of time. I personally would never own an AK-47, and I don't know too many people. I don't know any people that would. And I have some friends who not only have several firearms for hunting, but some of my friends just enjoy target shooting and own several firearms that they hardly ever use except maybe a few times a year. Some people own them just for home protection. But anyway, I am a firm believer in an individual's right to purchase and own firearms, including an AK-47. Now, when it comes to assault rifles, do I believe there should be certain laws in place, like a criminal background check, maybe certain restrictions around the circumstances under which you can own a particular type of weapon? When it comes to assault rifles, yes, but do I believe you should be prohibited from owning one? No. When it comes to lower caliber hunting rifles and handguns and revolvers for home protection, I believe anyone should be allowed to purchase one. Again, as long as you are not a convicted felon who's, convicted of gun charges and all those other things. I am a firm supporter of, if you broke the law with guns before, you don't deserve to own them. But if you are a law-abiding citizen, I believe you have the right to purchase any firearm you wish. That being said, there have been a lot of people come out and say things like, well, these countries have these strict gun laws, and you have to go through criminal background check, you have to take safety courses, you have to do refresher, you have to have permits, you have to do this, you have to do that. I don't agree with it. If our country ever went to that extreme, I would live with it. Um, but I'm not a supporter of that for a couple reasons that I'm not going to go into. But the point I'm trying to make here today is that let's say that we did have stricter gun laws. Let's say that the U.S. years ago put strict gun laws in place that says before you can purchase any firearm, let alone an assault rifle, before you purchase any firearm, you must go through a criminal background check, safety course, and you must have a permit to own the firearm. Okay. It would not have stopped what happened last week. The individual that performed this heinous act would have passed all of that. He didn't have a criminal background check, or he didn't have a criminal background, no crimes committed. He would have passed a psych exam if that would have been one of the requirements. And because he would have passed those things, he would have been approved for a permit. I'm sure if he really wanted a firearm, he would have gone through the safety course. So any restrictions you could have put in place years ago still would not have prevented him from doing what he did. Because he would have had access to those firearms, he would have passed the tests, he would have gotten his hands on the firearms, gone into the theater, and killed those people anyway. So let's say one of the strict laws puts a ban on assault rifles. Let's say assault rifles were banned years ago. This individual still would have been able to kill countless people. Let's say all he had the right to own was handguns. Let's say all he was allowed to buy was pistols and rifles. No assault rifles, no, heavy-duty bazookas or anything like that. He still would have been able to do this. Let's say all he had was a couple of 9mm pistols. 9mm pistols are semi-automatic weapons. You can still put out, so let's say he had two of them. Two 9mm pistols fully loaded, ready to go. That's 30 shots that you can put out in right around 10 seconds. If you have any other magazines with you, you reload the guns, you can put out 60 rounds in less than a minute. You know what I mean? He still would have been able to kill countless people. Now, would 70 people have been injured? Probably not. But you still would have had a great loss of life. So putting stricter gun laws in place was not going to prevent this from happening. I don't care. You can sit there and say whatever you want as far as, well, if we'd had stricter gun laws, it would have prevented. You can say that all you want. The fact of the matter is, and this is a fact, I don't care whether you want to believe it or not, you can say it's my opinion, but if you want to own a firearm or you want to possess a firearm, whether legally or illegally, it's like a drug. If you want it bad enough, you will have access to it. Making certain things illegal and putting restrictions on certain things is not going to prevent us from possessing them, owning them, using them for harm. Like I said, we as Americans prove it every day with other things. Every day, Americans break laws. We speed. We text while driving. Just because we put restrictions on things doesn't mean it doesn't occur. Same thing with drugs. We make drugs illegal. You're not allowed to do marijuana in most states. In some states you are for medical reasons. But in most states, you're not allowed to have marijuana. You're not allowed to do meth. You're not allowed to do cocaine. You're not allowed to do heroin. Owning, using, selling, any of that is illegal. Does that mean that people who want it don't have access to it? No. I'm not going to name names, but I have friends who I know do it. You're not going to stop somebody from doing what they want to do. It's just not going to happen. Stricter gun laws are not going to prevent people from killing other people with guns. The only thing that's going to stop people from killing other people with guns is changing society's mindset. Our society is a sick society right now. That's a whole other topic that I'm not even going to go into tonight. And because But there are a lot of contributing factors to our society being in such a nasty shape right now. Like I said, I'm not going to go into it, but stricter gun laws are not going to prevent future gun violence. It will not happen. If somebody wants you dead, or somebody wants you injured, somebody wants to get a gun and shoot you, they will get a gun and shoot you. Nothing will stop that. So, while I am in agreement with having certain possible restrictions or maybe not restrictions, but requirements in order to own certain guns like assault rifles, I am 100% in defense of the Constitution and an individual's right to own a firearm. It's one of the things that makes our country great is a freedom to do that. An individual who wants to go out and cause mayhem will do it whether we want it to happen or not, whether we put laws in place to help prevent it or not. If somebody wants to do it, they will do it. So again, I just think that a lot of the debates that I've heard over the last week are kind of unfounded. I think we as Americans do this a lot, as evidenced by 9/11. A horrific, tragic event occurs, and I'm not saying overreact is not the right word to use, but we do. We overreact. Something horrible happens, and all of a sudden we jump in and say, oh, we got to take care of this right away. See, we got to do something drastic about this. When 9/11 happened, within a week or so after 9/11, what happened? We were told that we were going to get who was responsible. We were going to go out and get the bad guys. Country stars wrote songs about it, for crying out loud. Not only country stars, musicians wrote songs about America being a great country. And I believe one of the songs, I didn't even remember what the title of the song was. It's a country song. But one of the lines in it says something like, you'll be sorry you mess with the US of A, because we'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way. Sorry for anyone who listened, and you know I never use foul language, but that's the lyric of the song. That's the mindset that not most, I would say a majority of Americans had at that time. A majority of the country had that mindset. You're going to be sorry you messed with us. Don't mess with the USA because we're coming after you now. And within a week after 9/11, what happened? We announced we're going to go get these people, and we were automatically in a war. Now, fast forward a couple years, a whole bunch of people were like, oh, no, I never said I support a war. I don't care whether you said you supported a war or not. A majority of the country, a week after 9/11, I'll never forget it. President Bush standing right there at the site with the crumbled buildings around him. I think it was like a week or so after 9/11. He stood there and said, we've mourned this, but we will find who's responsible and take care of them. And we were all in support of that as a country in general. I'm not saying every individual person was for a war, but we as a country were for going and getting whoever was responsible for attacking us. Fast forward to last Thursday. Somebody goes off and does something horrible, a horrific act, and all of a sudden, Americans lose their mind. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. But think about what you're saying. Stricter gun laws will not prevent what would not have prevented what occurred. It would not have prevented. My heart goes out to all the family members who lost somebody, all the victims who lost their lives. My heart aches for them. But stricter gun laws would not have prevented it from happening. If they would have been in place, this individual was, according to all reports so far, was a sane individual. He was a PhD student. No criminal background. He would have been able to get his hands on firearms and kill people. It wouldn't have prevented it, and it will not prevent. Putting strict gun laws in place now will not prevent future gun violence. So, again, my heart goes out to all the victims and their families, the shooter and his family. and I hope I get some comments this week because this is a hot topic. I'm not one for debating online. I like to mostly have discussions face to face, but if you guys get on and agree with me in the video, if you don't agree with me, let me know. Shoot me some comments, and we'll see what happens. Next week, or possibly later this week, like I said, I might even do a second post this week, just because it's a hot topic that I'm going to do next. The next topic we're going to be talking about is the Penn State situation. Obviously, over the last week, there's been a lot of talk about that as well, with the sanctions that have been handed down by the NCAA. But I'm not going to get into it now. That's going to be my next topic, though. So, anyway, I want to thank you for watching. Like I said, comment. We'll see if we get a little bit of a discussion going. But again, thoughts and prayers go out to the families out in Aurora, Colorado. Stick around for next week, or possibly later this week for our next topic. And thank you guys for watching. Until next time.